Is County Supervisor Jim Desmond. I didn't think we'd be talking so soon after yesterday, Supervisor, but your reaction to yesterday's announcement.
Well, Lauren, once again, this is a broad brush sector shutdown of our businesses that were just reopened. The people just got back to work, and I really wish the governor would take a look at the different sectors of San Diego County, of different counties, and see how they're doing. We're actually doing quite well in San Diego County, even though our cases, and everybody's chasing cases right now, even though our cases are up or almost doubled, the average age for getting the virus or testing positive essentially is 39 years old. And those are much younger, much healthier people than people that we were testing originally, and the average age was in the 60s. And the younger people are not going to the hospitals as much as the older people were having to go. We did have a slight uptick in hospitalizations of about 150 people on a daily basis, 150 people, which is like a 0.0000 percentage rate of an increase. And yet still, we haven't even used half of the COVID beds that we've got set aside. Our hospitals are able to handle it. So to have San Diego County, force us into another shutdown, and businesses, who have invested hundreds and hundreds, or if not thousands of dollars on retrofitting their businesses, putting up plexiglass, doing all of the right protocols. Yes, there's a few bad apples. We should go after those. But for this broad brush sector shutdown of hair salons and barbershops again, and gyms, and even inside church services, this is really going to hurt our economy, I think, in the long run. And now they've even said, okay, San Diego Unified School District, the kids are all going to be, doing these things online. So parents are now have the child care issues that is further going to keep them from going back to work. So, this is just another frustration, in the pile of frustrating things to deal with in our daily lives in California and under COVID.
Yeah. Our reporter Elizabeth Alvarez was out at a hair salon this morning that is apparently calling it quits, having to put it up for rent, their salon space, and you can only assume that is what a number of salons are going to have to be dealing with, not to mention the other businesses that are included in this latest restriction and rollback. What are businesses to do? What can they do? I mean, part of your job as supervisors is to help them, and I know you're hearing from a lot of them. What suggestions do you have? What are you talking about as a supervisorial board on possible ways to help these businesses through this?
Well, we have been getting CARES Act dollars at the county, and we've allocated a certain amount of those, or in this last round, about 17 million for economic development. That's countywide. So that money we're going to be giving out soon to those who qualify. They have to have be COVID affected, I think less than 100 employees, and they have to spend this money by the end of the year. We've also got, I think, about 25 million we're going to be setting aside for childcare, vouchers or childcare facilities like Boys and Girls Clubs and YMCAs and things like that. So we're doing that to try to help catch some of those that they're falling through the net to help them. But what's really kind of another factor in this is we didn't get any guidelines from the governor on how businesses. Okay, if I have to shut down, all right, I get that. But what do I need to do to open up again? And when can I open up again? So there's been no guidelines or standards for businesses. They were told 3 weeks. Well, they weren't guaranteed, 3 weeks, a week ago, that they'd be able to open up. It's a kind of a wait and see. And even that 3 weeks, we asked why 3 weeks. 14 days has been the isolation period and things like that. And we were just told that it was thrown on for extra measure. Businesses can't operate that way. You can't run a business or pay your mortgage or put food on the table with just, we're throwing in another week here or there. We're trying to do our best as we can with the dollars that we have and trying to allocate it and try to keep businesses that are on the fence of closing open as best we can, but we're not going to be able to help everybody. And unfortunately, a lot of businesses are going to be shutting down and people moving out of state because they just can't afford to live or work here.
Right. One of the factors that seems to be making a big difference for lawmakers is this idea of being able to have outdoor business. So if you are a restaurant, you can still function outdoors. For gyms, you can understand the incredible difficulty there, and for salons and nail salons, it's really against cosmetology board protocol to have those services outside. You would think there would be some sort of allowance made there under the current circumstances so that some of these places could still function. Is that an option, or perhaps a request to maybe see something like that be enacted so that you can have people go over to somebody's backyard to do their hair or nails or something to that effect?
I'd be happy if businesses were all able to operate on the curb and do things outside but unfortunately, like the state regulates those cosmetology and a lot of those, those rules and permits regarding safety within those businesses, and it's up to the state to allow that. I'd vote for something right away that would allow, most of these businesses to operate outdoors in the parking lots. Yesterday, I ate at OG's pizza place up in Vista, next to the Vista Courthouse. And out in the parking lot there, they took up about 10 parking spaces. They had canopies up, little pop-up canopies and tables out there. It was nice and shady. There was a nice breeze. It was felt a little strange, but they adapted, and so they were able to do that. But not every business has enough outside patio or has a parking lot in front of their business that they're able to do that with. So I'd be happy as far as the county is concerned, and I think we'd be willing to do that to allow businesses to open up in outside. But we mostly control the unincorporated areas, and the cities themselves, the city of San Diego or city of San Marcos or Poway, whatever, would have to come up with their own permitting to allow that. But I think, as politicians, in California, I want to keep businesses open. We want to keep them operating. We want to keep people employed. And so I'm willing to, do whatever it takes to do that. But unfortunately, a lot of these allowances or, those permits are state, certified or state controlled, and we don't have a lot of say in it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep following the discussions and making accommodations however we can to hopefully get through this. Supervisor Jim Desmond, thank you as always. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks. I wish I had better news for you each time, Lauren, but it keeps getting worse, unfortunately. Thanks a lot.
Stay safe.